Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg, Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to always have some great content from this group that comes in. And the San Diego Blood Bank, Douglas Morton, CEO, is joining us again for a return appearance. How you doing, Doug?
Doing great. Thanks for giving us the time.
Always. We can't talk about enough of what you're doing. Joined by a colleague, Mercedes Elridge. She is a San Diego Blood Bank recipient. How you doing, Mercedes?
I'm doing well.
Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. So 75 years for the blood bank, is that correct?
Isn't that amazing?
Oh,
yes,
my goodness.
This is our 75th year.
So what are you doing to celebrate besides everything?
Yeah, so we're going to celebrate this entire year. It's a good opportunity to really get the awareness out there about, what we do. So we just recently celebrated, with the help from Mercedes here, celebrated the opening of our newest Clairemont Mesa Donor Center.
Nice.
And so Mercedes was kind enough to come and share her story, because that's why people donate. That's why we're here as a blood bank, for patients like Mercedes.
Exactly. So real quickly, what's the mission of the blood bank?
Well, it's saving lives,
Right.
Simply. More specifically, we talk about the need for diversity in the community, right? Saving lives of a diverse community, because our patients ultimately are incredibly diverse. So one of the things we like about our new Clairemont Mesa Donor Center, it's just a very diverse community. So we ensure we have blood products that are the best match for our patients.
Right. And we talk about this all the time when you're on, Doug. I think it's important for people to know. As a blood bank, you always got to make sure you're stocked with blood. Exactly. Some times of the year are a little more challenging than others. I think you and I have talked about the summer can be a challenge, because a lot of times the students are giving blood during the school year, but they're gone in the summer.
Right.
But how does San Diego compare to other blood banks in terms of, do we have a big enough supply? You can always have more, I imagine, correct?
Yeah, so that's the concern, right? You never want people to say, "Oh, we're probably okay. I don't need to donate. Someone else will donate."
Right.
Our supplies are low right now. This is National Blood Donor Month. One of the reasons we celebrate National Blood Donor Month in January is coming off the holidays, people traveling, inventory does tend to drop. And I use the word inventory, right? Which sounds like, a grocery store, but this is a life-saving product, and it only comes from volunteer blood donors. So yeah, we need to encourage everyone to donate.
Right, exactly. Are the amount of donors that you get year to year the same? Is it less, but they're giving more blood, or is there more and they're giving less blood, or do you keep those stats, or that's just too hard to find out?
No, we absolutely keep those stats. So our team has done a good job of retention, keeping donors coming back a little more often, which is really helpful. The challenge, and really this is a challenge nationally, is one of just demographics. So we have an aging donor population. We have fewer births. So there's fewer people eligible to donate. And so unless we increase the percentage of young people donating, we're going to run into a real problem here in the future.
Yeah, and is there an age limit of when you cannot donate?
There's no age limit. If you're healthy,
right,
you can donate.
Yeah, I think that's great. So Mercedes, thanks for coming in. And talk about your experience being a recipient of blood, and why did you need blood?
Yeah, absolutely. I was in college. I was 24 years old. I was in my last year of college. And what's interesting is Doug just mentioned that, a lot of people, we need diversity, people donating. And my college had blood drives a lot, and I'd pass by them, and I would.
What school? What school was this?
San Diego State University.
Okay. Aztec for life.
Yes. They would have blood drives, and I would pass by, and I would say, "Well, I'll do that one day. I'll do that." And then I was diagnosed with leukemia when I was 24 years old, and so that was devastating. To say the least. I never imagined. I'd hear those words, "You have cancer," and so my journey started there. I needed a lot of blood transfusions and platelets, and it's just ongoing. And so, yeah, it's just very important for me to have that blood there. So I'm thankful to donors. I'm thankful to the San Diego Blood Bank for having that, available to me.
Well, I mean, obviously, no pun intended. I mean, it's the lifeblood of people, and and they were right there, shoulder to shoulder, with you on that aspect of it. Do you go out and do you talk to groups about how important it is to donate because of your situation?
hmm I attend blood drives whenever I'm available, and I will talk to people that go donate, and I just thank them for donating, and hopefully by word of mouth, they can just tell more people, and just share my story of how I needed blood, and I'm a living proof.
Right. Well, there's a lot in that area, and I'll ask the ignorant question of the year over here, which I'm good at doing. Can you donate blood? Are you donating blood?
I cannot. I wish I could,
Is that
but I
because of the
cannot.
condition you had? Is that why?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are those, Doug, one of the reasons, here are the people that would love to donate blood, but they can't because of these situations. Are there a lot of those?
Most people are healthy enough to donate blood, but there are some that certainly can't for a variety of reasons.
Right.
So it brings up a good point, though. We need help in lots of ways. So, just getting the word out. So what Mercedes does, telling her story, is incredibly important. So we certainly need the blood donors to step up who can. We need volunteers. We need financial donors as well.
Right.
So there is a way to certainly support the community through the San Diego Blood Bank and patients like Mercedes.
You and I talked about this before too, but I find it always fascinating. The science of blood and keeping blood and platelets and all that business. And it's a field, and it's important. Talk about what's going on in that field.
Yeah, so I like to tell people we're a nonprofit pharmaceutical, right? Because when you think about it, there's a lot of talk lately about the cost of therapeutics and how can they be incredibly expensive.
Right.
So blood is the most effective, most cost-effective cell therapy when you think about it that way. The amount of lives saved ultimately for the budget that the San Diego Blood Bank has, obviously supported with volunteer blood donation. So that's a challenge in terms of just funding as we look for new research opportunities,
right.
New health and wellness opportunities. So we partner with, we're in a great community, right? Biotechs,
sure.
Great research, schools, et cetera. So we work with them to bring donors in to have opportunities to participate in things like clinical trials, some cancer treatments. We were really instrumental in collecting some products for a cancer treatment that was developed through a pharmaceutical company, and we're continuing to help in those ways.
Right, exactly. We're chatting with Douglas Morton. He's the CEO of San Diego Blood Bank, joined by Mercedes Elridge. She is a San Diego Blood Bank recipient, a spokesperson, so to speak, I guess, that goes out and encourages people to donate blood. I'm Drew Schlosberg. As you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, we are the nation's longest running community podcast. We're now in our 19th year. We're brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things for people living in San Diego County. So, Mercedes, when you're diagnosed, get shocked, with the treatment you had, but now you got the blood bank that's behind your back in this area here. When you talk to different people, are you talking to folks that have been in the same situation of you, or whether they've been there or not, and just let them know how important it is to donate?
Mm-hmm. Well, I talk to people that have that are attending blood drives, and sometimes it's family members, and I just I tell them my story. Just how I'm living proof that blood actually does save lives. You know, and I'm alive today because of that.
Right. And then, Doug, is there a certain type of blood, that you're in short supply of? Because this one's the most popular blood. Most people have that type of blood, and but we'll never stop not taking it. Like you said, don't think we have a unlimited supply. But is there certain types of blood, A, B, or whatever? I don't even know what I'm talking about. But that's a rarity, so we need more, more.
So type O is the most compatible. So O neg is considered universal donor.
Right.
But that's only probably 5% of the population that have O neg.
Okay.
So that's a really important one. A lot of times that's used for, Rady's Children's Hospital, other children's hospitals for those neonates.
Right.
Oftentimes those are set aside for that. O-pause is the next most compatible. And so O-pause is often used for trauma. So when there's a trauma and we haven't had time to type a patient for et cetera, they will give them O-pause.
Right.
So those, from that perspective, they're kind of the most in demand. But again, we need all blood types. Our first attempt is to match the patient, as closely as possible to their own blood types.
Right. And you talked about, the trauma. I'm assuming accidents, so forth that, like in Mercedes' case, hey, we know what's going on. We need to get these transfusions, and that's fine. And this accident just happened, and all of a sudden, if we put blood into this person, the person expires. Correct? Yeah. And those you just don't know where they're coming from. I know, and we may have talked about this before, Doug. When you folks are working with, do you work with the Red Cross very closely on this, on blood donations, or not?
No, we're independent of the Red Cross. Obviously, we will collaborate if there's a need.
Right.
During the pandemic, for example, there were hospitals that were struggling with supply, and because we had such a great response from local San Diego residents, we were able to help those hospitals out.
Right.
So we have the same life-saving mission from a blood donation perspective.
Right. When we come back from break, I want to talk about, something I think you mentioned before, and that is having companies start their own blood drives, and that aspect of it, how you help them with it and so forth. Talk about what other things are coming up on the 75th anniversary events or whatever the case may be. And Doug, as you know, we always save time in the second half to what can our listeners do? Job one, donate blood. Okay. The job two, donate blood and money, in that aspect, but other things that they can do as well. When we return with Doug Morton, CEO of the San Diego Blood Bank, joined by his colleague Mercedes Elridge, a San Diego Blood Bank recipient. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, with another return appearance from our great friends at the San Diego Blood Bank, Douglas Morton, the CEO, and Mercedes Elridge, a San Diego Blood Bank recipient. So you've got the 75th anniversary of the Blood Bank. Do you have a lot of events that are tied to this?
We do. So we'll be having events throughout the year. As I mentioned, we just had our grand opening of our newest Clairemont Mesa Donor Center. We have a Padre Drive coming up on Tuesday on the 21st. So that's been a great partnership. Again, National Blood Donor Month, January, a time where we need blood. And then we'll have a variety of events. And I would encourage everyone to check sandiegobloodbank.org. Go to our website there. We'll have a number of events going on throughout the year. Some promotions, some fun things. So keep an eye out for that.
Right. So, can any company who's interested, not anyone, but I mean, you can't be running around for the 40,000 businesses for 100,000 we have here. But if a company wants to do their own blood drive, do they contact you?
Yes. So they can reach out. So there's a form at sandiegobloodbank.org on our website where they can reach out. So yeah, we would encourage any company that's looking to engage with the community in a new way. We have a team that will come out and, tell them everything they need to get a blood drive set up. We'll send our wonderful staff out there in a blood mobile, or we can set up in a room, either way.
Nice.
And partner with them really to be, as you said it, right, to provide the lifeblood to the community.
Yeah, and it seems to me, there's I'm assuming a relatively inexpensive way to do something that's really valuable, where you, working with you folks, you set up, okay, today between 9 and 2, employees can come down here if they want to donate blood or whatever the case may be. Can they do it inside their facility or not?
Yes, absolutely. We can do it inside in a large conference room, depending on the size of the company and how many people, but we will work through all those logistics. And to your point, it doesn't cost the company anything. Right, other than investing their time to save lives. And you meet someone like Mercedes and other recipients, and you recognize that it's so. We talk about saving lives, but when we say save a life, it's the entire life, right? So all the great things that recipient goes on to do, can tie back to that life-saving gift from that donor.
Yeah, and as you had you noted here, the figures are pretty shocking. That 3% of the population donates blood, but 62% of the population is eligible to do it. Is it just the fact that they're not aware of it, or they think it's inconvenience, or they don't like needles, which I'm sure is part of it, some of it.
Right.
Yeah, but, what are the factors?
I honestly think, when you talk to people, a lot of people have an intent to do it. But, life gets in the way, it gets busy. We try to make it as convenient as possible. Again, now with 10 donor centers, we do 2,000 mobiles a year out in the community. So again, encourage people to go to the website, find somewhere close, and don't rely on somebody else to do it. Right? That's the bottom line. Right? We need you specifically. You, because of your specific genetic background, might be a perfect match for a patient. And I think that's the bottom line. I think there's a tendency to think, well, supply is good. So, supply is day by day. Right. When there's a trauma, when there's a need, supply drops, and we have to constantly replace it.
Right. Is there an age group that you can't be younger than X to donate blood?
So we collect 17 and over.
Okay. 17 and over.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, college bound and all that aspect of it. So, how many companies do you have a goal of, okay, we did 2,000 of these things or whatever, and we've got 150 companies involved. Do you have a goal to increase it by 10%, 20%? You always want to increase it, I'm assuming it.
Yeah, so we have a group that we call Community Guardians. So we're trying to increase that number. These are companies that raise their hand and say, I want to help support a stable blood supply. They can do that a number of ways. They can do that through holding blood drives, certainly. But there are companies maybe that have a lot of outreach, but they themselves don't have enough people really to support a blood drive.
Right.
But getting the word out to their population, oftentimes a diverse population, is very important. And so we can work with those companies to drive that traffic to maybe a local donor center, kind of give them credit and track that. So that's that. We're looking for new Community Guardian members.
Right, exactly. So, Mercedes, were you there for the opening of the Clairemont? Right, it was you. Okay, good. And did people come up to you and talk to you after you told them your story?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a man that came up to me and said, I'm in my 60s and I've been donating for a while and I won't stop. Just hearing your stories, I won't stop until they tell me I can't donate anymore.
Yeah, and just think about the power of Mercedes' story, obviously with that gentleman who's now going to probably talk to his, constituents, and we all know the stuff, spreads out in that area. And so forth. Is there, as we move on, getting into, I can't believe we're in our 25th year of this century. My goodness, when did that happen? But as we continue, are there more challenges with, getting the blood to people that need the transfusions like Mercedes and so forth, or not really?
So again, I mentioned the demographic challenges, right? It's a population pyramid that's inverting. And the reality is when you get old, that's when you use a lot of blood. And so we need the younger group. And so we're really kind of focusing on the early career ages because they're more stable. They're here. They're not like leaving right after college, that sort of thing. Really trying to make sure they make it a habit to donate.
Right.
And there's some incredible things going on, that we're participating in. For example, we have a group that collects white cells, leukocytes, right? And these are going to cancer treatments. And so we want to play a part, again, being here with the great biotech community in San Diego. So we're looking for donors, not just for, and I say just, but right, blood donations that save lives,
right,
but also these therapies where we provide leukocytes to pharmaceuticals that make these cancer drugs, right, that are curing cancer.
So how does one do? I mean, can anyone? Pretending I even know what I'm talking about. Being the son of a doctor, my dad would just by going, "You didn't learn anything, did you? For God's sake!" But can anyone contribute to this? Does anyone have this aspect of leukocytes, whatever it is?
Yes, everyone has them, and so you can come visit the blood bank when you come in for a blood donation. Let them know you're interested in that. We'll certainly ask, but we're recruiting donors to help with those products as well.
Well, and is that growing? Is that part of the?
Yeah. So cell therapy in general, right? I mean, if you kind of follow the news, there's these therapies. We worked with one called tumor infiltrating leukocytes for melanoma. We were fortunate; our team were able to meet a recipient of this that completely eliminated the cancer.
Really,
this person was on their way to hospice. And they didn't have any other ideas. And there was this one last clinical trial. And again, we had participated in providing the cells for that. And that drug is now approved by the FDA.
I need to put you in touch with my former engineer. Has melanoma, and he's had to treat it over his life. And every once in a while, it pops up again or something like that. When they have this treatment, does it go away forever?
Well, in this case, yes, it has.
Right.
I mean, this person's 5 or 6 years in now.
Wow.
And so their scans are completely clear.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing. So again, this is just another way that donors can have an impact.
Right. And is that on the website as well?
But yes, we have a research area there.
And it's really just, the process is no different. They're pulling blood from you, right? It's no different.
It's a little bit different for the leukocytes, but it's a similar process to the way we collect platelets.
Oh, okay.
Using an apheresis machine. So people that do platelets are on an automated machine that separates them. And so I'll just mention, as we going into our 75th anniversary and looking to grow from a financial perspective, if someone's so motivated to provide financially, it's equipment like that is expensive. It's medical devices. And so those are things we're looking for help from financial donors.
Yeah. Well, you hit the, anything, whether it's leukemia or, but melanoma, which is certainly in my generation, that kids who never used suntan lotion, of course, when we were out there, right? And now going, hey, I guess I probably should have done that, right? And that aspect of it, not to make fun of it all, but it's a growing deal with skin cancer. You know that better than anybody on this. What can we do besides donate bloods and leukocytes and money? What else can we do?
Well, so I appreciate what you're doing for us right now, Drew, right? Is get the word out. So again, even if you can't donate, encourage somebody to donate. Bring a friend with you. If you are a donor, bring someone with you, right? So you mentioned what stops people. Sometimes it's the unknown. We're happy to walk you through step by step what it takes to be a blood donor. But if you can bring someone with you and you're a donor, give them that comfort level.
Right.
Our staff will certainly take care of you as a first-time donor for sure. But
is it significantly? I mean, obviously everyone's had blood drawn. I hope people have had blood drawn when they go to see their doctor and all that. And usually it's a pretty quick process. Is it a different process? I mean, you're with a machine for how long or not?
Well, so for whole bloods, there's no machine other than we have an automated scale.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, we have better phlebotomists.
Okay.
Our phlebotomists are very good at what they do. So yeah, for a whole blood, the actual draw may be 5 or 6 minutes.
Right.
And so, there's some time ahead of that where we're you're filling out a questionnaire, checking histories. You spend more time really eating Nutter Butters in the canteen than you do actually donating.
No, I think that's great. How do they get a hold? What's the website?
That's www.sandiegobloodbank.org.
Okay. Mercedes, any final comments you'd like to tell our audience on your experiences?
Yeah, just if you have if you're healthy, donate. It really does save lives, and you make a difference in someone's life.
Well, we really appreciate you sharing your story, and obviously it's had an impact on people, and it'll continue to do it. And as we say many, many times on this community spotlight show or spotlight on the community show, is that you may impact Mercedes, but you're impacting Mercedes' family, relatives, friends, pets, whatever, in that area. So it's not just the recipient like Mercedes; it's everybody that surrounds her, and that's a big number. Doug, it's always good seeing you. We're going to look forward to. We love having you on, and you bring in people that have benefited from that, and we'll look forward to the next time you're back on.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely, we're talking with Doug Morton. He is the CEO of the San Diego Blood Bank, joined by his colleague Mercedes Elridge, San Diego Blood Bank recipient. I'm Drew Schlosberg, as you're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest running community podcast in our 19th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County, from food insecurity to literacy to art, so many things in between. And we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.